The A-team officiating camp will be May the 5th, 6th, and 7th, and we will also bring in replay this year and clinicians from the NFL, the FBS, the FCS, and Division II level conferences. I don't want to throw out too much just yet. The A-team officiating camp website is at ateamofficiating.com.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Unofficial Lounge. Now, let me tell you guys, we've had some guests on this show, but this guest we have been waiting for since the show have started because his resume does more than what our show does. Let me tell you that. And a lot of people don't understand the history of this man, Mr. Larry Upson, one-time supervisor of the NFL, and then left there to go on to start a new adventure in the UFFL, and then now part of the Pac-12 Supervisors Conference. Welcome to the show, Mr. Larry Upson.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Upson. That was somewhat sweet, Cravon. I don't have no objection to your intro.
Oh, very good, Cravon. I'll remember you next time they send me a play of yours.
I appreciate it. You know, Larry, I really appreciate it. But anytime, if for those of you that's listened to the show a lot, if I could shut Ashante up, I did a pretty good job on my introduction. So, but that goes with the resume that we have on the show with us, Mr. Larry Upson. And that's what we going to get into because we talked about it a little bit off air. I don't think people understand the history that you have in this business of officiating. This isn't a side job. This isn't avocation. This is a business and how much history you have here in officiating. But we like to start it all off, Larry. How did you get started in officiating?
Believe it or not, this is an odd story. You all know Johnny Greer, right? Or you've heard of Johnny Greer?
Oh yeah.
Back in the day when I first started officiating, I was working a Pee Wee League game. It just happens Johnny Greer's son was playing in the Pee Wee League game. And Johnny had I think it was Johnny's first year moving up to the NFL. He may have still been in college, but it was early on. But his son was in the Pee Wee League game, and he saw me officiate, and he went back and told the high school guys, okay, I think I found somebody for you guys. So it all started with Johnny seeing me officiate his son's game in a Pee Wee League game. So Johnny was the first that reached out and recognized and said, okay, we're going to move you over to high school ball or what have you.
Hold up. So,
go ahead, Ashanti. Go ahead. This I want to jump on it.
You just working, Pee Wee. You don't know who in the stands.
And didn't care.
Didn't care.
Yeah. I didn't know, I really didn't know Johnny, even though at that time we didn't have a tight organization the way. If you know DC officiating, DC is tight.
Oh, that's what you was officiating. So was it a lot of pop the trunk moments? So you was just worried about at the end of the game going to the car as opposed to waiting?
That's all it was. You just showed up and did your Pee Wee League game. And it's just like, I used to go to my son's games and stand on the sideline or sit up in stands and watch him work, but it's just one of them things. That's the way Johnny was. And if you know Johnny, that's who he is. He's totally in the background. He wants to be totally in the background.
Yep.
So
I would say this too about you. That's how you are. Even at camps, just observing you. It's like, okay, I don't know where Mr. Upson is. He's somewhere just playing the background.
That's what you got to do. That's how you tell people.
But Larry, what made you get into even Pee Wee football though? Why'd you even start?
At the time. My boss, who I was working, I was a HR manager, and my boss was an official, and he needed some help in this Pee Wee League game. He gave me my uniform and everything just so I could come out and help him. So, that's how I got involved in officiating from that standpoint.
Man, I had to pay for my uniform. I had to pay for mine. Dang.
Well, he needed the help.
Right.
So in order for him to, I wasn't making no money officiating, so I didn't have money to go out and buy a uniform or whatever. No, so he took care of me. He hooked me up, and the rest is history.
Man.
Now you show up helping out your boss, which, understood, because hey, your boss say, hey, we need help. You're going to go out there. You go out there now, you work some games, and then all of a sudden, Johnny Greer of all people see you.
Right.
Walk into that high school meeting. What are you thinking the first time you walk into a high school meeting?
I was scared as hell. What am I getting into? What have I signed up for? And I don't know if any of you all have ever met Tom Beard.
Wow.
No, I have not.
Ever had the pleasure?
Tom Beard adopted me the first day I walked in. It was like that's the legacy of DC football. Johnny was Tom Beard's first student, and he got him to the NFL. I was his second student, got me to the NFL. It's just when Tom spotted talent, he just, and I'm patting myself on the chest. He started working with me and started pouring into me, and Tom wouldn't let me out of his sight. He took me to all his games. I had to do the penalty cards. I held the chains. I drove, everything just to fill me with officiating knowledge. And I truly was blessed. I was blessed to be around so many people, so many football knowledgeable people.
Let's not go too far yet in deep one.
Okay.
But you walk into a room, and first of all, Johnny Greer, this so happens his son is playing at the game that you working. And then you walk into a high school room, and you have one of probably the all-time legends. There's camps named after this man.
Right.
Yep.
Tom Beards. And you walk into this room. So when did you recognize that it was more to it than even just high school? I mean, because you're walking into a room that is filled with greatness instantly. Not all of us have that opportunity to where we're walking in a room
and
to where
you're welcomed.
Right.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
yeah, they pulling you in there. It was, thinking back on it today, it wasn't as frightening as you probably think of it, because I didn't know what I was getting into. I'm stepping out there into Neverland, not knowing the pedigree of these guys, at the time, because I didn't know anything about officiating. I wasn't interested in officiating until my boss pulled my coattail and said, hey, I need some help. So I didn't really know these guys until I got into the inner workings of all this. But once you met Tom Beard, or once Tom met you and he had you by the neck, you weren't going nowhere. So
you was an adult, is what you're saying, right? When you did all this. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I
didn't get into officiating until probably late 30s, maybe early 40s.
Oh man.
Hold up. Whoa. Hold up.
Drop the bomb. Hold on a minute. So Larry, when you talk about this, first of all, anybody that's connected to officiating it, to realize that you walk into the room and Tom Beers is the person that's running this room is something else. Because I know I was heavy into officiating. My first time that I left out of my local, I had to leave outside of my local area. So I live in Lancaster. People, y'all know that. I went to a meeting in Long Beach at the time, and it was probably 20 guys that was Division I or NFL. So Tony Carenti, Carl Cheffers, or, the friend of the show, Chuck Stewart, Patrick Turner. I mean, you just name it. Bobby Wucetich. It was this guy after guy, and I was just in awe, like, whoa, I didn't see these guys on TV. But you walking into this room with this greatness, and you don't even know who these dudes are.
Hey man.
I wasn't into it until I get deep into it, and then I realized, dang, I got all these guys mentoring me,
Wow.
So what
at the time it didn't faze me at the time.
So Larry, what do you think it was in you that made all these people want to take hold of you and mentor you? What do you think it was, that spark that you showed off?
I think it was my willingness to listen and to once a guy, Leo Miles, who was I think the I mean, Leo Miles was in the NFL for years. Leo grabbed me.
Monty. Hold on, my bad, Mr. Upson. Hold on.
Right. That's another disc.
That's another
dropping disc.
The people you casually mentioning, right? And you're not knowing at the time, it's somewhat of a big deal. Like, I'm just.
Yeah, well, Leo, I remember we were out on the football field one time and Leo was talking to me about getting to the goal line and something else happened. And the next time I got to the goal line and he said, that's what I'm looking for. Somebody that listens and then puts it into play, and that's how people start noticing you. You listen and do exactly what they say and they feel like their tutor, their mentorship isn't in vain because you're listening. And once I start figuring out who these people were, I started listening more.
Got you.
Wow.
Now that you're in high school, when did you start to recognize that it was even more? Because you walked in just not knowing. When did you realize once you start the high school career that it was more beyond high school?
Once, like I said, once I started hanging out with Tom was my godfather. So once I started hanging out with Tom would introduce me to all these people. Like I said, he would take me to every game. He always had me doing something in officiating. Like I said, holding the chains, doing the penalty card or something, just so I could be around the game, get immersed in the game. And I mean, they didn't push me forward, but they made the opportunity. They presented the opportunity to me to advance, and it was up to me to take the step.
Sure.
They gave me all the tools. Here, you take the next step. And at the time, our next progression in DC was either the ACC or the MEAC, and we couldn't get in the ACC in those days. So it was like, go ahead.
So now you're saying, wait. So you're saying from high school, the next jump was that big of a jump in the DC area to where?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you could have done some smaller college football, but for all of us coming out of DC, it was the ACC or MEAC or CIAA at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
ACC or bust.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what's
the
talking
process?
about late 70s? What time frame?
Come on, don't disrespect my guy.
I don't know.
Come on now.
I couldn't tell you if I had to.
So you're trying to make this jump. What's the process to even get noticed in the ACC? Like, what's that? Like, what do you do? Like, who do you send?
Keep making application. You had to make an application. You had to go to the spring games, just like you guys do. I had to do this spring games. I had to
practices.
Just be available for them when they needed me. MEAC. I used to tag along with all the guys who eventually went into the NFL. I used to tag along with those guys to MEAC games, either be the driver or just hang out with the guys every weekend. So, that was fun.
Larry,
that's when I started feeling that it was something there.
Larry, I don't think everybody understands this. We talking about you just wanting to be a part of the MEAC, right? Because those of us around the country, we just gonna call it the MEAC, that you just want to be around them. So you driving, you just hanging out to be a part of the group.
Recording penalties.
But I think what you missing too, like they'll work with him, like, hey, Larry, we know you next, and we bringing you with this experience so you can experience this also, right?
Exactly. Like I was, for the lack of a better way to put it, I was the chosen. I was the next one up. I was the next man up that they were developing to be ready to step up either to, like I said, the ACC or the MEAC. So I got all the, nobody gave us anything. I got all the. Here's our guy. He's going to be next man up.
So do you know this as your? Do you internally know this, that you're this guy that they're choosing, or is it that you're enjoying working with them and working hard, and you see yourself?
Ain't nobody enjoying driving a car for 5 dudes for 5 hours.
But do you know that? Do you know that you are that chosen one, or is it you're just working?
I really, Monte, I really didn't have that sense. Right. And I'm not that type of guy, that pounds my chest. I I never had that sense. It was just, I'm out here. Sure. I got a story to tell you all later about me and transitioning to the NFL, but it was just, tag along. I knew I'm with Tom Beard. Tom is legend in the
correct.
DCA.
That's right.
Tom is, I'm picking Tom up and Tom is picking me up. I'm taking Tom to everything he had to go to. Just he pouring into me every single day. If when you look down at your phone and see Tom Beard on it, you wonder if you got a half an hour or an hour to talk, because he's going to talk to you that long. Yeah. But that's my man.
Got you.
That's the way Tom was. He's always pouring into you.
So the good thing about that, though, hold on, Shad, but the good thing about that is you were accepting of it. You accepted the challenge, because they threw the challenge out there to you, and you said, I'm taking all y'all giving me.
Because after a while, you start getting a sense that there's something more that could be had here. I felt it. I felt it when I was out doing scrimmages and what have you. It's like, oh, I can do this. I can make this work. And I start feeling it. So
the confidence going up. Yeah. So your confidence getting better.
Exactly. You start to have a voice in the car when you're sitting there, as opposed to just being the driver.
You're smelling yourself, what I'm saying?
Let me correct you there. Tom never lets you smell yourself.
Gotcha.
I'm still driving the car, Larry. I'm still driving the car.
You never got that loose with Tom.
Got you.
Yeah.
But at least let you follow your own directions at some point. Like, Tom, I done took you here 10 times. I think I know how to get here now.
Yeah, but you just kept your mouth shut and went on. That's where we're different today.
Right. When he said, no, don't say it's any different, because when he said take a right, you took a right, even though you had to go left.
Yeah.
I don't know if the GPS telling me left now. I don't know. I might get you crazy.
Because let me tell you, a friend of the show, whenever I'm still driving some of the legends that's in this game, hey, if they tell me, hey, Cravon, go right, and the GPS saying left, I'm going to go right, because eventually they going to turn around and say, like, yeah, see, this is the way we need to go.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, sir. Let's go.
Follow the orders. You follow the directions. Yeah. They've been down this road 50 times.
Exactly.
So how was it now? You're doing a casual Pop Warner to now you get more in depth in the high school games. How's that transitioning to, like, you're learning and then riding the car with people? So you're taking everything they're telling you and you're working it on the field. Yeah.
You get into high school and you start honing your skills. You start working on your skills. That's where you work on your skills. I used to try to work every position in high school just so I could work on my skills to get to a point where I could work any position except for umpire behind the linebackers. I think I've worked that one time in my lifetime. But just to hone your skills, I would work everything. But it got to a point in high school where I knew I was going to work the championship game every year because I was the man, in the high school league, and I'm not trying to be pompous, but I knew if there was a big game, I was going to work it.
Sure.
And that's the way you want it to be, right? And once you get to that level, like, hey.
But that was because I honed my skills. People knew I was working at it. Right. I wasn't sitting back expecting somebody to hand it to me. I worked at it. And that's what I look for from officials today. Work at your profession. Work at this thing. That's what you got to do.
Got you. So you're working. And what's the next level? Like you said, the ACC had a limited number of slots.
Yeah, ACC, it was interesting. ACC would always, I would work their spring games every year, work the ACC games, and they come back, we just don't have an opening this year. If you want to be the clock operator, you can be the clock operator on the sideline, but we don't have any openings for officials this year. So in the meantime, I get picked up by the MAAC. After 3 or 4 years working high school ball, I got picked up by the MAAC. And
3 years of high school.
It may have been a little more, but 3 or 4 years working high school, because like I said, I had training that most people didn't have, so it was different. And once I started working in the MEAC, I got connected even further. I became the play clock operator for the at the time the Washington Redskins. Me and Tom used to do the clocks for the Redskins. I remember the ACC wanted to hire me, but they wanted to hire me as a clock operator. And I said, I've already reached my peak as a clock operator. And I told the supervisor this. I said, I'm already the clock operator for a professional team. My goal is to get to the NFL on the field, and that is a clock operator. So I turned the supervisor down and said, no, I don't want to be a clock operator.
Right.
I want to be on the field,
So my question is, were they making clock operators transitioning to them on the field, or did they just stay on the clock?
They just stayed on the clock. I would have still been on their supplement, but I just would have been on the clock.
On the clock.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, and I needed to be seen on the football field. Working my game, because I knew at the time it was getting time for me to apply to the NFL. So I didn't need to be, standing on the sideline clicking no clicker.
Right. Right. I had to be seeing some snaps. I can't be over here hitting the button.
And I'm not trying to be pompous. It was just, I knew, these guys have been pushing me to this point. They didn't push me to be a clock operator.
You ain't driving these drives just to be on the clock.
Run the clock in the ACC,
Now, no disrespect to any clock operator.
Exactly.
But for an on-field official to become a clock operator is called retirement. No disrespect to any on-field official, but once you go from on the field to clock operator, that means I'm in retirement.
Wow. Yep. So I know you I know how this go. I know you talked to Tom about that call before you told the supervisor.
Oh yeah. Tom was 100% behind me on that.
Hold on. Before we jump too far, let's Ashanti, that's a great question. That's a great response. You have a gentleman like Tom Beers that that has your best interest at heart. How many times, I shouldn't say how many times, was it pretty much every call, every step that you have in officiating, you called Tom to bounce it off of him before responding to whoever called you or the next step?
Oh yeah. That's Tom. Like I said, Tom is my dad at that point, So you're going to talk to your officiating dad, and then we had a nice nucleus of NFL guys in the neighborhood that you could talk to. It was almost like, here's the plan, Larry. We're not doing that. We got something better for you,
But I'm pretty sure also Tom knew you was getting that phone call. Hey, he gonna call you and say this. We ain't doing it.
Yeah. And if Tom is that radical. Tom was, we're not doing that at all. So that's not the route we want to take in this ball game. So
got you.
I loved it.
That's great, because now you reject that, and I'm pretty sure the supervisor didn't wish you well in your career, future endeavors. Right.
I never made it up to the ACC, regardless.
Right.
Needless to say, I never got that phone call from them.
Okay. So
good segue. Go ahead, Shante.
They're lost. So now we get that next call from the MEAC. Did I say it right? MEAC. So how was that? Because now we know, ACC ain't calling. This the call. We getting you snaps, Larry. We're gonna say everything right. I'm pretty sure Tom knew this call was coming.
Yeah.
All right.
Because they all worked in the MEAC also, and it was like, I get to the MEAC, and I just try to be the best official for the MEAC. Be the best I can for the MEAC. Be the number one official in the MEAC. And just work my butt off there. But I was on a crew with Tom Beard, so Tom wasn't going to let you slack up at all. Tom was across the line from me, so
wait, hold on.
So hold up.
Don't
You're
go
still
too
driving
far.
the car, basically.
Don't go too far. Wait, because
Okay.
right now, you're the first person that we can say that's been on the field
with Tom Beard.
But they mentor.
with Tom Beers. You was on the field with Tom Beers?
Yeah, I was on a crew with Tom Beard. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
So he went from telling you on tape how you look to, hey, Larry, I don't know what you're doing on that play. So
Exactly. Oh man, Tom was so tough. I mean, he was tough. It was tough love. You know, I'd be smiling sometimes out on the football field. Somebody's talk to you and you'd be smiling, and after the game, he remembered, don't be smiling on the football field. You know, he was always under control. As we got later until I got to a point where I could laugh at Tom. There's stories about it, but I don't want to get too far ahead.
We don't want to get too far ahead, but let me ask you this question: working with a legend like that, is there a moment on the field that you remember he go, nah, Larry, we ain't calling that today?
Nah.
No?
Never had that.
Oh.
Because he knew
never had
they were calling it.
Larry already knew before we got there.
We had such a good connection, and we had probably, and we heard this from a lot of people, we had probably the best crew the MEAC has probably ever had. We had Tom Beard, we had me, we had Scott Green, who was an NFL referee, who's the executive director. Scott was our referee.
Yes.
Jim Duke was our umpire. He was in the NFL. We had two other guys. Our deep guys were candidates for the NFL. They never made it. But we had the super crew in the NFL. Right. I mean, in the MEAC. We worked all their big games. Every game. It was amazing. We just had fun. So once you get into that mode, you were basically, Tom would still talk to you, but it wasn't like when you were his baby. Now you got to get out there on your own.
Right. It transitioned from mentorship to now your coworkers.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
So,
you get a little bit of respect from it. Just a little bit.
Just a little. So now you sitting in the back seat instead of driving. When did you stop driving the car? Okay.
Because I'm actually going to work now, and I just worked, and I'm tired too. So it was fun.
So hold up. So you work with all these guys who, again, because now you like, hey, I ain't worried about you're like you said something. You're trying to be the best where you're at,
right?
And you're working on that craft, and you still trying to do, like you said, you already know your other path. So, did you know about the NFL or the transition of getting to the NFL, or is you just being the best? Like, because I'm not seeing. You already stated that, hey, I'm going to the NFL with or without you to the ACC, right?
Right.
So, how did you know about that? I'm just saying. I know you work the guys in the area, but I'm just.
I mean, all the guys. I can name people. We had Johnny Greer. We had Leo Miles, we had Ben Montgomery, we had Ron D'Souza. I mean, we just had a wealth of talent, NFL guys in our neighborhood who were always at our meetings, be it high school, college, whatever scrimmage, they were always there tutoring me. And it was always, well, okay, you've been doing this now for 3 years. We think you need to apply for the NFL or something like that, so. They tell you when they thought you were ready.
Wow.
Got you.
Now let me ask you a question, Larry, because on Unofficial Lounge, we like to be unofficial and get people to talk. A lot about today when it comes to officiating is they talk about we don't have enough people at the high school level, small college level. And I'm gonna put my personal stance to it.
Okay.
I think a lot of our local high school groups don't appreciate the officials that have moved up and past them, in a sense that I wouldn't say past, that's a bad word, but has moved up beyond high school, but still want to be a part of it. But then when they push guys that's moved up beyond high school level out of their local unit, if somebody new starting out, they don't get to see the Tom Beers. They don't get to see the guys that you saw that was already at that upper echelon at the high school level, knowing that when they walk in, there's more to it than just high school. Have you guys seen that in the DC area? I know, because a lot of places we see it a lot, that the Division I guys, the NFL guys kind of get pushed out of their local high school units.
It's like for me here, I'm in Florida now. I've lived here for 13 years, and I got to know some of the games, some of the officials, and I go to some of the games, and I've always told them, I mean, invite me to a meeting or something, just let me come to the meeting, let me mentor somebody or what have you. And one of the guys told me there's a sense of jealousy at, back in the day, back when I was coming up, there wasn't a jealousy. You wanted these guys there, but there's a sense of jealousy. They don't want somebody like me coming in speaking to their people today. And I don't know why that's so, but I think that's what it's gotten to. I mean, everybody's for their own kingdom, they're building their kingdom. I'm the leader of this high school group, and who are you to come in and say something? So I've mentioned it a number of times. Why don't you all invite me? Why don't you tell me where there's a game I can come and see or something like that? So
right. I just don't understand these high school units across the country.
Yeah,
man. They are short of officials, but yet they won't let people see that there's more to it than just, if you want a person that's 18 to 25 and you trying to get them locked in for something that they can do for the next 40 years.
Yeah.
You got to give them more sometime than just they get to go to local high schools that they didn't see all their life.
Yeah. You gotta give them, you gotta put that carrot out there for them to see. Here's a carrot that you can see. He made it, you can do it.
Well, but Mr. Upson, what is that carrot though? Because all officials are supposed to be so tight-lipped and so sequestered from everything. Like we can't be on social media. Like what is that carrot to allow people to see?
I mean, what you do sometimes is you invite somebody, you invite a local Division I official in to speak to the group. Okay. You invite somebody, you got somebody like me sitting here in this city, and you never take advantage of me. I may get an email from somebody saying, hey, we're going to do this. We got a meeting over here, but I mean, you got Division I officials. If not, embrace them.
I think
the last thing I need is more work. But what I'm saying is you can at least reach out and try to bring people in to help the young people to see that this is where you could be.
Sure. Let me tell you, Ashanti, real quick. The man is saying he is trying to volunteer for something, and they won't invite him. And Cravon, he's trying to volunteer.
We know why you mad, Cravon. We know why you mad. You've been speaking this, but I can't say this though. No disrespect, Mr. Upson, but you guys are intimidating. You know what I'm saying? No, even though you're very cool, but it's real to realize, like, when I first walked in the room and I saw the people sitting in the front or the back, it was like, wow, it's very intimidating. It's only when I went and had conversation with you, like, oh man, that's a cool old dude. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Ashanti, did you just call Larry old?
I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing about Mr. Upson. I just said the dude's in the back room. Mr. Upson doesn't sit in the back. He sits on a tower just observing. He different. I picked his game. So, but I'm just saying it can be intimidating, and then to ask you to come in the room, they afraid to actually say, okay. They want to control, like you said, their kingdom, because now people leave that kingdom and see it's other information out there. Like you was able to get in the car and learn things. Like if they learn from you, it's like, hey, they gonna know what I can learn more outside of this room.
But hold on, Ashanti. I know you personally. You learned a lot by just standing on the sideline.
Oh, I did.
Right? You learned a lot by just standing on the sideline.
Yeah, my second year, like I just went and watched Cravon work, and I saw him how he controlled the coach. Like you said, you saw that, and I'm like, oh, so the coach don't have to scream at me all the time. If I actually know, it took me to understand that. And
but who's going to tell that? Who's going to tell that young guy that? Who's going to tell that young official that? Who's going to mentor him to not be intimidated?
Sure.
Somebody has to mentor that person. These guys that are trying to make it themselves, they don't, they're not reaching back. Yeah. Those days are over. I think. Got you.
Ooh, hold on. Wait.
We're gonna drop a bomb on that, man.
Yes. Because Larry, I love that you say. I love that you said that. This is where I am trying to get everybody. I should say everybody, but I think not just me. The Unofficial Lounge. We're trying to get people to understand it. What you talking about, how it was, and how you came up. That is lost now because it's so much business and money, which we gonna get into. But that's lost now in today's day to where sometimes you need a guy that just knows where the locker room is to be a part of the crew and not a guy that's always trying to advance, because that guy can teach you. Larry Upson is trying to move up. What's the next step? Or how do you correct this as you going instead of just looking, hey, I just started Pee Wee League yesterday. I just looked up and Johnny Greer son is playing. He saw me. In today's day, people would just shun that off and say like, oh, you get invited to a high school meeting. In today's day, then guys already think, oh, I'm gonna be in the NFL in the next 2 years because Johnny Greer saw me and he told me. He told me I look good. You look good. Look good. I'm gonna be in the NFL tomorrow.
I think too, as it go back to Mr. Upson, like, and I've extended this to guys too. Like, hey, it was just a junior JUCO or Division III game. Like, hey, if you want to come, you can ride with me and you can experience our pregame just so you can understand it. And no one is taking it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I reached out, you're not doing it, and it's like, okay.
But that's a big difference. Nobody likes you.
I ain't asking them to pay.
Only thing you can do is you can dangle the carrot out there, but the individual has to bite off of it. They have to want to do that. It's up to us as officials to reach back and pull people forward to keep this profession going. If we don't do that, it's going to die up. It's going to dry. It's going to die.
So it's a new day. It's a new day. The mentorship and the surrounding yourself with these great people, it's a lot harder to do. What are the new ways to do this?
Hold on, wait, Monty, don't jump too far. Sure. Don't jump too far. Because hold on, I want to talk about this man greatness on the field.
Sure.
Okay.
He already said he was good. He was good.
Right.
He humbly said, "Hey, I was nice."
Sure.
Right.
Sure, absolutely.
So Monty, no
trying to work no clock.
Right, Monty, no disrespect.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with a clock operator around here.
Yes, it is. If my vision greater, you know what I'm saying?
We gonna get there. So Larry, you get invited into the MEAC, and the ACC. You already told them, hey, I ain't got time for y'all.
So let's describe that MEAC experience, because I know about the SWAC. Talk about to us about the MEAC and that pleasantry and
the halftime and all the good stuff.
The 45-minute halftime.
Right.
Working a MEAC game was fun. It was fun. I mean, it was just the pageantry of it all, and just, I mean, seeing the crowds and seeing good quality football. We saw good quality football back when I worked. Howard was really good. North Carolina A&T was really good. South Carolina State was good. We had some good teams, good quality teams. So it was good competition. Delaware State was good back in the day. So I mean, it was fun. It was fun going on those campuses and just enjoying the scenery, I should say. Let me leave it there.
Who was the athlete that you remember working in the MEAC? Who was that player that you remember working in the MEAC?
Do you remember the guy who caught Joe Montana's touchdown pass in one of the Super Bowls?
John Taylor.
Who?
John Taylor?
John Taylor?
Nah, John Taylor was it John Taylor? One of whoever came out of the MEAC. I think it was John Taylor.
Hold up, you ain't that old. Hold up, Mr.
because Jerry Rice was Mississippi Valley. I think Mississippi Valley was always a swag.
Yeah.
Nah, John Taylor came. I'm about to look him up.
Yeah, we got to Google that one.
Who was it? It was but whoever it was, I mean, he was
at Delaware State. He went to Delaware State.
Yeah, John Taylor.
Okay.
Got the game-winning touchdown pass in Super Bowl.
Against 16? The Bengals.
I know it was a post play. It was a post. Yeah. That
was Google it for us, Ashanti. Was that 16?
Man, I don't know them numbers.
So yeah,
that was and he concluded the 8-8 season. He ended with a famous catch in the Super Bowl 25. Yeah.
What Super Bowl was it?
Man, I don't know them numbers. It's one of them Roman numerals.
It says 23. It says 23.
Super Bowl 23. Okay. I
believe.
Okay.
It wasn't 16. I know he ain't that old.
I wasn't.
No disrespect, Mr. 16. Like he ain't that. Okay, so you had John Taylor. Wow.
Yeah, I know he was probably one of the most famous players that came out of there.
Wow. Okay. Hey, and have one of the most legendary plays of all times in Super Bowl history. So
exactly.
So, and now let's go back to your mentors, because now I'm saying, like, I know they joking with you to let you know to get better. Like, hey, you taking too long to push you up, right? I know it's that competitive relationship with your mentors and everybody looking at you like, hey, Larry, you're taking too long. Hey, we like what you're doing, but you not keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? What's the next phase, Larry? Like, don't be happy where you at. I know they're giving you that. Like, hey.
You know, it was interesting. After a few years in the MEAC, our mentors came to me and said, it's time for you to put in the application for the NFL. And I told them no.
Huh? Hold up. What you say?
What?
Huh?
I told them no, I wasn't ready. I didn't feel like I was ready.
Nobody says no to that, Larry.
Yes, they do. I did.
Mr. Upson. Hold on. I'm going to correct it. Mr. Upson, everybody says, yes, they should have called me.
That's the only time you question your mentors? That's the only time?
I didn't, by that time, I was smelling myself. I wasn't questioning them. Yeah, I wasn't questioning them. I was telling them, hey, give me another season or two so I feel good, because I'm the one that's got to step out there.
Sure.
Got you.
Sure.
You all had already made your plans. You made your career. I'm the one stepping out here, so let me now make that decision. Like I said, I'm smelling myself, so I can talk.
Right. Wow. Wait.
Did they swing back?
Right. Nobody says no to that, but we gonna jump a little bit, Larry. What was it like? Because we for those of you that don't know, Mr. Larry Upson, when you meet him at camps, yes, was an on-a-field official for the NFL. Okay, a lot of you are too young to realize that, but yes. So, Larry, you told them no, you didn't want to put the application in, but eventually we know that you did.
The next year.
Who called you, and what was that call like when you got hired in NFL?
That was Jerry Seaman.
Ooh, wow.
I remember sitting in my office.
For those local Southern California dudes, Jerry Seaman, may he rest in peace, local SoCal guy, great guy.
Sitting in my office, and Jerry calls and says, hey, we want to welcome you to the National Football League. I mean, it was probably the greatest phone call I've ever had in my life. You know, other than the birth of my 2 kids, I apologize, but it was just it was a great moment. And as they always used to tell us, well, don't call anybody and tell them, don't tell anybody. But
they already
my
knew.
first phone call was to Tom.
Yeah,
Call Tom.
Right.
I had to call my dad. Because he did the work. You know, he put in the work. So it was like I had to let him know. So
at any point were you worried because you did push them for a year, and then are you worried that now whatever position you're working, I believe you were back judge, correct?
No, I was a line of scrimmage. I was a line of scrimmage, back judge, and then went back to line of scrimmage.
Okay.
Hold on, no. He was a skill position.
That's what I said. I worked different positions so I could master these things.
Hey, Larry,
except
let me tell you, you were a line of scrimmage official and a back judge. You were a skilled position.
Thank you.
Skilled.
But
yes.
Are you worried that since you did push them for a year, that maybe now that they have filled those positions, they have filled, got their quota of whatever they need? Are you worried about that at all?
Oh no, I wasn't worried at all. It was just I knew if I submitted my application and did the interviews, we used to have to go sit through interviews with the supervisors, and if I did my part, which was on the field part, if I kept my game tight,
sure,
eventually it was going to come. I knew it was going to be there. It was just like I talked about, and I wasn't being arrogant with the ACC by telling them, no, I don't want to do your clock, but I knew I wanted to be someplace else. I knew it was there.
Now, Larry, that wasn't you being, as we call it today, big time. You had a roadmap that was put in front of you that you were blessed to have. Tom and some guys, they put a roadmap in front of you, and you knew what that roadmap was, and you were following the roadmap that they told you. It wasn't like you was just going off of y'all beneath me. You talked to Tom, you talked to your mentors. Every step that you made, you bounced it off of the guys that you respected and appreciated to getting you to where you was at that point.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
So let's go back to, so you tell your mentor, no, I'm gonna put weight off for you. I know that was unpleasant.
On the application.
So, on the application. So now when you get that phone call, your chest is sticking out a little bit bigger, like, hey, this is the one I was right on, and it.
Yeah, so. When you get that phone call, the NFL isn't one of those phone calls you get because you politic for it. Or that you knew the right person, or your congressperson wrote, or whatever. you got to work for that. It's not a hand me. They don't reach out and hand people one of those 119 assignments.
Right.
But you had to have some type of vision to know, like I said, it'll be there, and just awareness of yourself, like it'll be there when I'm ready.
I just had it in my heart that I knew one day I was going to be there.
So
but then you also had the mentorship that told you the game plan of what it was.
Yeah.
But he told them, no, wait on a year. But also at the same time with your family though.
Yeah, I just told him that the one year, I just said, give me another year before I do this. I just didn't feel like I was ready.
Got you.
Yeah.
So how's your family?
You got to step back. Sometimes you have to step back away from this thing. That's unfortunately, that's what you see with guys today. Like, I think Cravon said this earlier. After 2 years, you think you're ready for the NFL. Right. After 3 years, you want to work the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And you just showing up at Pop Warner.
Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing, Larry. So
what's the family life? That we didn't touch on your family. So now you doing all this weekend stuff. How's your family working with you with this football hustle?
Very supportive. Everybody was very supportive. My son was playing football at the time, And I would try to, when I could be there for, to watch his games, I was there, and that's one of the things I tell the officials that I supervise today. When you have to be at your family's games or doing stuff, do it. Don't worry about this. This is going to be here. But you need that support from your family. It's important that you have support from family. So when mom, you walk in the door from a game, mom ain't complaining that, I had the kids all weekend, because you did them during the week. You helped out. Right. And that's what's missing somewhat. People, you gotta get back to the family.
Now, before we jumped away from the family, a lot of people don't have their kids involved with what's going on in your officiating world. And it seems like at that time, Larry, you had a connection with your kids, especially. This is what dad is doing. I'm going to be here, Tuesday through Thursday, everything y'all do, I'm going to be here 100%. Right. But understand that daddy got to go make this bread. On, when you was in college, it was, I'm leaving on a Friday, I come back on Sunday. When you was in the NFL, how much did you let your kids, your son especially that's playing football, he understands it, know what was going on in your officiating career?
Oh, they understood it. They saw the games. They saw me on television. I mean, imagine how proud your family is to see you, on television, every week. I remember I used to bring my son back the program book and the stat sheets and all that. Even before fantasy football, he was into all that crap, but so you got to stroke them too. You bring them a football or something, it just, you keep the family in tune to what you're doing, and they're happy. Because it's a good thing. It's a good conversation for them to have with their friends. Hey, my dad, XYZ,
So we get that jump in the NFL. So hold on, because Craven want to touch about the business aspect. So
no. I was waiting for Monty to follow up, because we know, Ashanti, you don't have no kids, so you can't relate to it, but Monty can.
Yeah, so I'm pretty easy. I just bring home T-shirts.
Man, we had to tell you to stop posting on the internet. Man.
Well, we had to tell Monty to get off of Instagram.
I gotta make my own memories around here. You never know. I might be gone tomorrow. That's all they got. Make your own memories. So how many years did you end up working in the NFL?
6 years.
On the field.
6 years.
6 years.
All right. So
what was memorable?
So hold on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What was one of the most memorable things of those 6 years at the
NFL? Probably the biggest game I ever worked. I worked in my last game that I ever worked for the NFL was the AFC Championship game. Was Jacksonville and New England. That was my very last game I ever worked, and that was like the next step to work in the Super Bowl. You had to work a championship game before you worked a Super Bowl. So, I had worked the wild card, I'd worked divisional game, I'd worked the conference championship game, and, next step was Super Bowl. So that was a major accomplishment.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people say the championship game is the toughest game to work.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a battle.
Right.
It's a battle.
There's no 2 week lead up to it. It's the games just happened the week before. We going back out there next Sunday. Let's get it. And all's on the line then.
Exactly. Your season is over. That's it.
Sure. So now you're in the league, and now you're still giving back to your local association, right? You helping your local guys out, staying involved.
You got to go to the meetings you got to go. If Tom Beard's involved, you got to be involved. Tom was all about giving back. You always, every Monday night, the high school group met in the little rinky basement. We were always, all the NFL guys were always sitting in the back of the room. We were there. You had to give back. That was Tom's whole operation. He was all about giving back, making officiating better. Yeah. And that's what he taught all of us.
All right. So let's not confuse people. So when you officiated in the NFL, you was wearing the knickers, right? The knickers generation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So when you say you was on the field 6 years, was that part of the plan too?
No, that wasn't my plan.
Yeah, that's where we got to get to. That's the next jump, right? Because everybody right now that is most likely listening to this show know Larry as in some type of supervisor position.
They just the dude in the back that's quiet. Right. That's all I.
It's my first time being introduced to you, Larry. I met you the first time we were in Reno at camp. And at the time, you were still with the NFL, and you told me, hey, bro, everybody in the world knows it's an incomplete pass. Why you blowing your whistle 15 times? And everybody knows that's an incomplete pass. So that was my first introduction, but it's a lot of people that's officiating now that only know you as supervisor in some sense.
Right.
Larry,
man, you killed my question, Cravon.
I'm sorry. I'm putting some history with it.
I don't need the emphasis.
You still a young buck. You still a young buck. I remember, people got to understand that you were on the field, and then what was that transition like going from on the field to now being in what we call on the unofficial lounge, the suits?
He went to the dark side.
Yeah, I went to the dark side.
Management.
That was never my plan. Again, that was never my plan. And I've told this story a million times, I would have never applied to be a supervisor in the NFL. I had no desire to move to New York. That wasn't in the plans for me. That wasn't in the cards. But again, I'm sitting in my office one day, and I get a phone call from Paul Tagliabue, who's the commissioner of the NFL at the time.
Hold up, the commissioner calls you. like normally when the commissioner calls you as an official, it's something bad. Like,
Mr. Upson, so all this throwing these names out here like it's nothing. Wow, this is amazing.
Talk about this again. Go.
The commissioner called.
I got a call from Mr. Tagliabue, and he said they had a committee put together who wanted to look at some candidates to come into the office, move into the office to be supervisors, and my name was one that they wanted to talk to, and they asked me if I'd be willing to come up to New York and talk to them about it. And I said, let me think about it.
So what did Tom tell you?
That's why I said, let me think about it. I got to talk to Tom first, see what this is all about. So I talked to him. I talked to Tom, and I eventually went up to New York and talked to him. And, we went back and forth. And then finally, one day they called and offered me the job. And
okay, big stop, because a lot of people don't probably understand what all this takes in. Right. So you called your mentor, the guy that you always count on, like, hey, let me think about it. And this is the process that I think everybody needs to take. Like, hold on, let me think about it. And it's not so much that you saying no.
Right.
We're so excited about the opportunity. Is sometimes you just got to take a back seat. Hold on. Wait, this is a big career adjustment that nobody prepped you for. Exactly. Let me go talk to my mentor to make sure that this is the next step. This is the right thing to do.
First off, I thought it was my buddies punking me. I swear. I thought somebody was punking me, and so we had to negotiate this thing back and forth. And like I said, I finally went up there 2 or 3 times for interviews, and finally they threw the life raft out in the water, and I.
Now, Larry, let me ask you, because those that are in officiating period, some sports are different, but football especially, there's outside careers along with football officiating. So you had another job along with football officiating.
That's correct.
Now you get that call that they want to bring you in the office. Did that start to now dictate not only your football decision along with your regular job decision? Did that first call you going to the league office also interfere with your regular 9-to-5 job?
Oh yeah, that meant I was totally out of that 9-to-5 job.
Right.
Okay.
I was now becoming a full-time employee of the NFL.
That's what people don't understand. So
Hold up.
at the time.
Yeah, because we never brought up your job and the travel, the way from work. You have to take off, to do football games. So now that had to be a difficult conversation to have. Like, hey,
so
Larry,
Larry, before you answer that question, we're talking about you were in high school, you were in the MEAC, you were in the NFL. At this whole time, did you work for the same 9-to-5? You don't have to say who or what. Did you work for the same 9-to-5 at that time?
Yes, I did.
Going through?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that's what I don't get. I want
that's
everybody
what you
to
didn't
understand.
get. I got that. Come on, man.
No.
You slow the man down.
No. But we want the average individuals that don't understand what this man is doing.
Sacrifice.
When he got the call to go into the office for the NFL, it was life-changing, because now he had to determine, is he going to give up that 9-to-5 to come into the NFL office? Right, Larry?
Exactly. It's a whole career change.
Right.
And especially into something that I wasn't prepared for and I would have never applied for.
Right.
Because when you got that call, as great as your mentors were, you just trailblazed a new path. And I don't think that's what anybody understand what Mr. Larry Upson is doing. As great as the mentors that you had, Tom Beards, I mean, you just name it, but there's nobody else that we got to go beyond with Tom Beards. And I know you have a lot more other people that you counted on. Okay. But there was nobody that you could call on and get supervisor experience. And I'm going to leave my 9-to-5 Monday through Friday job and work to the NFL the whole time in officiating. There's nobody that you can call on to get advice.
Yeah, well, just to correct you, Leo Miles, at the time, Leo had come off the field, and Leo Miles was in the league office. So Leo, again, backing up, Leo was one of my mentors.
Okay.
He's already in the league office doing what they're asking me to come in to do. So Leo was there, was like, okay, Leo, give me the, 411 on this, so.
Thank you. But that's why we doing the unofficial lounge, because people don't realize, include myself, and I feel like I've got an opportunity to meet a lot of people and listens. So now you actually had somebody that was in the league office that you can bounce it off of too. So you calling Tom and you calling Mr. Miles at the time to find out what's going on before you make this life-changing decision.
Yeah.
Larry,
they're truly life-changing.
Can I ask you, so is this the reason why you came off that at the 6-year mark?
That's exactly
it. Is basically, goodness. So what was the defining decision that made you say yes?
He went back and forth and negotiated. They said gave him a number he liked.
It was enough numbers in front of that comma, not the decimal. It was enough numbers in front of that comma that they said. Larry said, "Oh yeah, it's good."
I'm gonna take you all in a different. I'm gonna take you in a different direction.
Okay.
After all that back and forth, I had actually decided to turn the position down.
Whoa. Hold on. Why?
And I was supposed to call them the next Monday and give them my decision. And I had actually made the decision. I'm a Christian. I'm a praying man. I pray about stuff. And it wasn't in my heart that was something that I wanted to do. I didn't figure that's where God was leading me. I was happy with my life. I had a very good 9-to-5 job.
Right.
I had a good family life. You know, I just wasn't. It just wasn't one of those things that jumped out at me. So I'm at church the Sunday before the Monday that I got to make the decision or make the phone call, and my pastor stops me and he says, "Brother Upson, did you ever decide what you're going to do on that job?" And I told him, I said, "Hey, I think I'm going to turn it down." And he said, "You're going to turn it down?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I just don't feel like God's taking me in that direction." And he stopped and prayed with me. And he said, "Maybe God is telling you to accept it because you can make a change. You can make a difference in the lives of the people at the NFL." He said, take this opportunity or take this day, go home and think about it, pray about it some more, and see what you can do. I mean, see if that's really what God is telling you. Maybe he wants you to step out there and do this for his purpose.
Right.
Hold on. Wait. This is the most calm drop the button of all times, Monty. Drop the button. Because it's nothing that you can say to that. That is what life is about. Anybody that's listening to this show, this is what we have been trying to tell everybody. This is what it's about. We love the game. We love officiate. We love the highlights, but it's about life. And this man just told you he had to process it. Mentors, pastor. This is all of what it took. And then he realized, I am going to be the person that chart a new path that nobody else has experienced that I can relate to. I'm charting a new path. Let me go do it and do it the right way. This is what the Unofficial Lounge is all about. That's why we have Larry Upson on the show today, guys. I mean, I am more fired up than ever after that, because that is what we are trying to get people to understand, that this is not just something we throw a shirt on for on a Saturday or a Sunday. It takes a lot for us to get to where we're at. So now, Larry, you make that jump to the suit, as we call it. Sorry.
When you cross over to the dark side,
right?
How was
you cross over there in that dark side of the suits?
Well, hold on. You call it the dark side, but Larry, we need more people on that dark side. What do you think about that?
I agree 100%, and I think that's one of the things that my pastor was trying to tell me. We need more people like you. We need more Christian brothers on that side of the fence.
So when you get in, how was that experience now? Because now you're not training and working, like everything you did so far was working to be an official. Now when you start day one out, like you're not worrying about a rule book anymore. What's your transition into being?
Your transition is now everything that 119 people do comes back on you.
and you was in that room now. So how did so now you went from being the guy in a room to everything, every microcosm type thing that could happen, you had to answer for it, basically. So it's an interesting dynamic. You know, when I was in the workforce 9 to 5, I just had a staff. You know, I had to be responsible for those people, you know, and I could pretty much dictate. But you go out on the football field and you make a decision that's counter to what the rule book says and counter to what we taught you. Now I got to answer for it. You know, it's a whole different dynamic.
Wow.
Now, Larry, what was your first job or job title with the NFL? What was your first, when it comes to coming off the field, going into the office, what was your first responsibility to the NFL?
I was just one of the regular supervisors initially. You know, we had a group of supervisors who evaluated games. We went to a game every week. We evaluated the games, and just took care of getting training tapes out and all this other stuff.
Now we're gonna back up the tape for everybody who don't understand. So you come in as a supervisor, not a position, but it's a supervisor. We don't have all this fancy technology that you can just go onto the internet and download games and all this other stuff. So what is your responsibility as a supervisor coming off? I know you're going to games and you're physically watching games, but at that time there was probably 30, if not already 32 teams in the league.
Yeah, there were 32.
32. So you didn't have where you're getting all of them instantly like we get. So you were going to
a big laptop back then, Cravon. So now, a big laptop and a big.
It weighed like 10 pounds, right?
It had a briefcase. It had a briefcase with a handcuff on it.
So that first year in, what was kind of your day-to-day or week-to-week interaction of doing what you had to do for the NFL?
It was kind of difficult because I came from an environment where we had computers and we ran computer reports and we know how to go on the internet and all this. Right. And you step into the league office and it was still white paper and red pen.
And
and
word processing.
They really weren't automated. It was like, I remember turning to a guy saying, y'all still write this stuff down? I mean, nobody's writing stuff today, and so it was, I mean, even we had to wait on Monday afternoons until the tape came in from the team. Right. We couldn't, like you said, we didn't have the resources. We don't have DB 360 that every play comes in as it's happening. So we had to wait for the beta tape to come in, that afternoon, Monday afternoon for the tape before we could start working.
Now, Larry, you say that. So that means that the accepting of this job require you to move from the DC area to the New York area?
I had to move up to New York.
Right? Because now everybody's sending a tape in. When you say VHS, beta, you're getting physical tapes into the office that you're now putting in. Shipment.
Yep. That's what we had to work with. We had the beta machines, we had the VCRs and all that other stuff. I mean, it was just
you weren't waiting for an upload. You were waiting for FedEx and UPS.
Exactly. our guys, our runners were going to the mail room every half an hour to see what tapes had come in. That's no lie. I mean, and you waiting on, most weeks you waiting on 16 tapes,
Wow.
Hold up.
People don't understand that. But now, okay, you get the tapes in. Now you got to develop a training tape.
Right.
So you develop a training tape. How are you getting that now to the officials?
Is that 2 weeks later from the week one? The training from week one is week three?
No, training tapes had to be done. We had a little bit of automation in there where, we had a little sound booth and you could go into the sound booth. We had some guys who would cut the tape and what have you. And you do a video, but they had to make 16 copies of that video, and those things had to be in what we used to send out a referees packet every week with referees reports, game tickets, everything was FedEx to the hotels. I mean, everything was. You all couldn't even imagine today what we had to do. Everything that went to that crew had to be out of the office by, I think, a Thursday afternoon. We had to have it all into FedEx so they could have it at the hotel by Saturday.
But you're shipping it to the hotel that they're going to because you don't have the time to send it to the referees home. No. You sending it to, we're going to send it on Thursday so it could be there on Saturday and they show up.
Right.
So we saying, so that was no such, only Thursday game was Thanksgiving. So what did you do for the Thanksgiving Day game?
You had to make adjustments. You adjusted your week evaluation schedule for those games.
Yeah, because this seemed like this is what is this pre-replay? Well, I'm trying to get a gauge.
No, replay was back by then. Yeah.
Okay.
We did
So-
have replay.
Now, Larry, I'm gonna make a big jump. I know you were in the league office, but at some point in time, you become the man. You become hold on, I almost said the wrong word.
So hold up before you get
become
into that.
the person in charge, the supervisor of officials that now we call the vice president of officiating in the NFL. How did that transition happen for you?
Well, unbeknownst to Mike Pereira and myself, they brought us in to eventually replace Jerry Seaman.
Wow.
So
The guy that hired you.
yeah, the guy that hired us. So that was the whole plan. So when Jerry eventually left, they made Mike and myself co-leaders in the office. So
Wait.
That
Thank
sound
you,
like-
Monty. Thank
Hold
you,
up,
Monty, for
hold up,
dropping
hold
that big
up.
bomb because he tried to act like it was just,
Hold up.
you know, yeah.
I just went in for coffee.
And
and they just happened to have a latte for me.
right, and they just happened to make me the vice president of the
And this is how many years after being a supervisor?
wow, it's probably
You're in office how many years?
I was in the office for 12 and a half years, and this was probably after 2 years.
Hold up, whoa. So I'm sensing your career, your growth path is real. It's every 2 or 3 years you're doing something different. I'm sensing that.
Yeah.
Right. And
and for those of you that can't see the camera right now, he kind of showed his shoulders like, yeah, like what you asking me for.
So how was
the
that? But I want to go back to something where you, like you said, you had that relationship with your old. How was that leaving your old job? I know that had to be hard with your old boss and everything.
It really wasn't. It was like I'd run my course there.
Okay.
I'd been there for umpty years, and it was like, I'm going to do something different. I got a new calling here. So everybody understood. I remember I had a huge going away party. So
okay,
nice.
I just wanted to touch on that. So now you in the league office, and you So let's talk about your time in the NFL. Now you're the VP, and you trying. So how you are you trying to make these changes of? Hey, we got to get more typewriters to automate this stuff. Get rid of the typewriters. Let's get some more.
That was my primary goal, to make the office automated, because I'd come from that kind of environment. I wasn't used to, writing pen and ink stuff and what have you. So, my time there, I spent trying to get the office automated up to a point where we were getting stuff in, via, I forget what they call it at the time, but we were getting it over the wire at some point.
Okay.
Back in those days, they had different names for it.
And now you went from being in the officials, the clinic, to now you're running it. So how your former peers treating you now that you got the suit on and you evaluate now?
It becomes a whole different dynamic when you used to hang out with people. Now you're their supervisor. It's a whole different dynamic.
So
it's different. I used to have a lot of friends in the NFL, and you lose them when you become the supervisor.
And at this time, is this when you developing your golf game? So how's your golf game going at this point when you start playing?
No, I didn't start playing golf until a few years ago. I hated golf.
Got you.
I used to always put people going out to play golf. That's time for a good nap.
So, because I know you touched on you said it's some stories for a later moment. So, like you said, you in the office and everything's going well. Like I said, that New York, and now are you a DC DMV kid?
Yeah, I was born and raised in DC.
So how was it to adjust to go up north to New York? So make that adjustment also.
That's a whole different lifestyle. That's a whole different animal. I mean, I didn't want to live in the city. because of the, I'd always lived in a big house.
Right.
And if you've been to New York City, everything is small. I mean, apartments are tiny and what have you. I had no desire to live in a little closet. So I lived outside. I lived outside the city. I actually lived in Jersey and commuted in every day. And out of my day, each day, 4 hours and 15 minutes was spent commuting.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Hold on. Wait. The people don't, you just said 4 hours and 15 minutes of every day of your life was spent commuting.
Yes, to the office.
So that means basically a day a week was wasted in travel.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. A day a week was wasted for travel, to work.
And when you go back and look at it, that was the way of life for people in that area. I mean, New York is so huge. I remember telling somebody one day, I heard the train conductor say there were 900 and some people on my train that morning. And we were one of about 1,000 trains that came into the station that morning.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So imagine how many people were just coming from my direction coming in there. Everybody did that.
All right. So Larry, I mean, because you have such an amazing career. Now you're in the NFL office. How long did you hold the position as vice president of officiating in the NFL?
I stayed there. Like I said, I stayed there for 12 and a half years.
Okay. 12 and a half years. That's a long time when we think about it, because nobody's holding that position recently for that long.
Right.
And liked.
Right.
And being liked.
It's a tough job because you're on call 24/7, 365 days.
Right.
And that's what I was going to ask you too about that commute. That's 8 days a week?
No, I would do Monday through Thursday, typically Friday. Either I was going to a game or something else. So Friday typically was my stay-at-home day.
Got you.
Because at that time, you guys didn't have like the command center in the office. You were physically going to games. You didn't.
Right.
It wasn't a whole lot of stuff bringing into New York.
Yeah, we eventually set up a command center where we had everything. We could see all the games up on the screen. We eventually had that, but that was later in my career. I would go into command center on Sunday. I would be off on Friday and go back into command center on Sunday.
Do you feel that's the biggest change and the biggest improvement that happened during your tenure there?
Are we gonna call it an improvement? Go ahead.
I'm gonna ask you. Yeah. What do you think is the biggest change and the biggest improvement that happened during that tenure you were there?
The internet.
I was. Thank you.
The internet. That's what
I think just making the access to technology available to everybody was one of the things. Like I said, that was one of my major focuses. Setting up the commands. I can't take credit for setting up the command center. That was somebody else's idea for setting all that up. I loved it. I loved the command center, but that wasn't something that I really can put my handprint on and say, I did that.
Sure. Now, Larry, you spent a total of 12 years with the NFL in that position, in the supervisor position.
How many Super Bowls were you able to go to?
11.
Hold up. How was those? Did you cherish each one?
No, it was work for us.
It was too much work, right? It was too much work.
You go to the Super Bowl. When you work for the league office, you go to the Super Bowl, you're in a work capacity.
Right. Got you.
It's the only night or evening we had off was Saturday night before the game, and you were so tired, you wanted to go to bed. Sure. I know I did. It was like it was work because
the Carnival's tomorrow.
Super Bowl, there's a whole lot to prepare for the Super Bowl. There's practices and everything else. Everything is practice. Everything is rehearsed.
Got you. And back then, that was either 2 weeks or 1 week for the Super Bowl, right? You had the option.
It was typically 2 weeks between the games.
Got you.
Except I think for 9/11, I think there was only one week
because they had to delay. Set everything to the side for that week so that they can.
All right. So I want to go back to it's something we didn't bring up. So as you're officiating your NFL, which one of the better players, the best athlete you saw during your tenure?
Probably Lawrence Taylor.
Okay.
Well,
LT was. It's interesting. I was telling somebody the other day. LT was so fast off of the football. It was almost like he was offside on every single play. It was just that he was so fast off of the football. I remember standing behind a coach one day and he's chewing me out because LT looks like he's in the neutral zone on every snap. He's like, I'm turning this play in. I'm turning this play in. I'm turning it. This is going to be your last game working, you know, one of them things. And as it turns out, LT was just, he read that ball. He knew when to get into that neutral zone. He was very rarely offside.
So, and this something else too. So as you're still in the league office, are you still trying to attend as many local top meetings with the high school association? Are you still trying to reach back, give back?
You know, in the spring, I would go down when Tom started his camp. I would go down to Tom's camp, or if there were other camps, I'd go to camps like Reno camp or someplace else. But being away from DC, I didn't get back there as much as I wanted to. And when I got back there, is typically to see my family, see my mother, and what have you. So.
All right. So, and also in this capacity, are you able to do what the pastor, you and your pastor talked about, being a difference in being a difference in?
I'm glad you brought that up because it was interesting. I started a weekly inspiration. I would send out to each crew something sort of inspiration before the games. And this is I guess a dark side of the NFL. I did that in my capacity as supervisor. And after about a week or two, I get the general counsel comes in my office and closed the door and says to me, we want you to stop sending out that devotion because it's like we from the league office are making these people do that.
Wow.
Some people object to that. I mean, you got to understand where they're coming from, and different people have different perspectives on that.
Sure.
So I said, fine, but I knew there were other Christians in the whole working. So I got in touch with this guy named Mark, and Mark took the whole thing and he turned it into a huge devotional thing. And I remember this is another religious story, church story, but when we go to camps and go to our clinics, they used to always just have Catholic service. They would always have a priest come in and do a Catholic mass. And I was like, and all us Protestants would be standing around on Sunday morning like, what are we going to do? So I made it a point that we were always going to have a Protestant service, along with the Catholic service. And then we started having a bigger crowd than they had in the Catholic mass because people were just going to Catholic mass because there was nothing else.
Sure.
That's another thing I take credit.
Us Catholics take over everything.
Yes, you do,
man. We ain't gonna get into that.
Right. We take over everything.
So now what are you doing?
Now, Larry, let me ask you a question real quick, Larry. You are in this point to where most people will say, I am at there's
life is good.
Right. His life is good. I'm making my money. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm comfortable where I'm at. I'm in. When it comes to the industry of football, you can't get any better than the NFL.
Yeah, you don't pay your kids college off cash.
Right.
Right.
The kids didn't got through college. And then now another opportunity come, the UFL come talking to you. What brought you to that decision to leave the league and go to this new upstart?
Well, like I said, I had been at the league for 12 and a half years, right? My hair was really getting gray from the day-to-day grind of the NFL. And these people approached me. And plus, think of the dynamics. Mike and I are trying to share a role in the office. Pereira and I are trying to share a role. And if you know Mike's personality, Mike is more that out front guy, and I'm more the back guy.
Oh, the guy that's on TV every Sunday on 5. Yeah. No, we don't know who he is. Nah, we don't know that personality.
So this is my when these people approached me and first of all showed me the money.
Welcome to the Unofficial Lounge. Here we go, baby.
This is the first time you ever talked about money. So it has to be.
They showed them checks.
Yeah, when they showed me the money, and probably the biggest thing was they said the league office is in Florida, is in Jacksonville.
Oh,
Sonny.
And I'm thinking
that's where I want to retire.
I can get out of New York. I can get out of New York. I'm still getting the paycheck, and I get to run my own show.
Hold on. You get the NFL retirement. We ain't gonna get into too deep to that, but you get NFL retirement in a non-income tax state of Florida, and they gonna pay you on top of it. Yeah, sign me up, Patriot. Sign me
Hold on. So does your 6 years that you've been on the field, do that count towards that 12? So that's a total of 6 plus 18, right?
Yes.
And now, okay.
Don't go no. He said yes.
Right.
Don't go
right,
no.
there you go.
So I'm trying to do the factoring in. So when we talk about retirement, so now, and it seemed like you probably already retired from that other job because you left on good terms, right? So how many?
I've probably retired from 4 different jobs.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
somebody just said that to me the other day. Right. You keep retiring from jobs.
So now Florida come and it's like, okay, I can get out of New York. I ain't got to make that commute. And
plus it's warm. Plus it's warm.
Plus it's warm all the time. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
All the time.
So you didn't waver on that decision any long like you did the NFL, right? How long did it take?
It took me a couple of days because again, you're talking about a startup.
Right.
Got you. So you want to make sure everything.
You got to think. Is this going to be successful? Is the money there?
Right. Yeah, they can promise you anything.
Right.
So it's a different thought process. Because now you're going from something established to how long are they going to make it? How much money do they have in the bank?
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And leaving something that print money in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. So that played into it. But like I said, once they showed me my contract and showed me what I was going to be making for the 5 years, I was fine.
Sure.
I was good.
He went from that print money to that Bitcoin money. It's the easy decision.
The true crypto before it even started.
So, all right. So now, okay, that going away had to be kind of tough. We leaving. Friends
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
So I take it you couldn't leave Jersey fast enough, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
So how is it? Okay, now you coming to Jacksonville, and how's that experience? How was that experience starting up now?
It was fabulous.
Gotcha.
It was fabulous to go. Just to move here and been in the Sunshine State. It's just an easier life. You imagine going from the hustle and bustle of LA to some little hick town in Arizona.
Yeah, there you go. You go from LA to Flagstaff.
Right. So I'm going from New York, New Jersey. I'm going from New York, New Jersey down to Jacksonville.
Duval County.
Yeah, Duval. Yeah, it's just so laid back and the cost of housing is half of what it is in Jersey.
And it allows you to pick up the golf game.
Yeah.
So that's what allows you to pick up some clubs.
Yeah.
You joined the other old timers and like, hey, we were all retired.
Hold it, man. My buddies would resent that. Because all of them still work. I'm semi-retired. All of them work. So
okay.
Yeah.
Now, Larry, everybody should know now you are, the UFL came and gone, but it was a great opportunity for you. But now you are a supervisor as a part of the Pac-12. How is that, you having a tutelage of Tom Beards and all the people that help you in your career? Now, I know you still have the suit, so you still got a grade and everything, but how is it for you to just help the next official along?
I love what I'm doing today, Cravon. I really do, because it gives me an opportunity. You know what we go through when we have our meetings, our meetings. I love sitting down, talking to my guys, mentoring the guys, and just sharing knowledge with them, and just the college official is like a sponge. That's the analogy I always give. They're like sponges. They want to absorb what you know. It's counter to what we were talking about earlier about the high school associations not wanting you to come and speak to their people. In this role, people just want to know what you know. How do you want me to officiate this play? You know how awesome that is?
Yes.
And I'm not saying it from an ego situation,
right?
Ego standpoint. It's you're able to pour into people. You're able to have people sit back and listen, and go out on the field and do what you've asked them to do. I love it. I love this.
Hey, and I think it shows, because I've been on some of those calls and how you correct the banter you and Chuck have going back and forth. It's interesting to see the steel sharpen steel and the correct, and just to show guys that, hey, we can all get better and we all here to learn is a great experience.
And you do it in a respectful manner, and you just you just let people know this is what we're looking for. And like I said, the college official has been very receptive.
So it's a little different than being a suit. So when you was a suit and you tried to offer that to your peer,
to the NFL guys,
right.
It's a whole different ball game.
It didn't go over well. What you saying?
Yeah, they
went back to the union rep, right?
Huh?
They went back to the union rep.
Hey, there you go. I had so many problems with the union. You don't have a union rep here, and oh, thank God. But, it's total. It's night and day. That's why I love it.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, Larry, we not gonna take up too much more of your time, because I know you probably got some film to grade. You don't have mines this week, but be nice. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. We're going to have you on the show again, because we didn't talk to so many people that have referenced your name.
Wow.
That we going to have a round table of some.
I don't know if we can put that table together, man. I don't know. Some of them guys are not as clean. And polished PR wise as Mr. Upson. True. Mr. Upson went through a lot of PR training.
He did.
He's skilled.
We gonna make Monty do a little bit more work of editing, because some of the guys that need to come on the show with you, we may have to beep out some stuff.
Yeah.
But I sit at the table with all kinds. You don't look down at anybody. I ain't
saying look. People. It's about the editing of
right.
It. Right.
We talk about the processing of the show.
Oh, okay. I understand.
We talking
that's
about
on your end. That's on your end, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because Al Jury and Charles Stewart together in a room.
Hey, and we can't leave out Buddy either. We can't leave out Buddy either.
Buddy. And Stanford Rivers. I don't think that combination. So, it's something we want to talk about. I know the Tom Beard's camp. Can you talk about that?
Tom Beard camp. We again, I feel like I had a motivation behind Tom Beard's camp. Tom used to do a unofficial camp every week up at Howard University. Every Saturday he would have a group of guys. That's where I first met Boris Cheek. I remember Boris sitting in the class at Tom Beard's camp when Boris was just trying to get in, in the position that I used to be in. But I remember we had Tom's birthday. All the DC officials came to Tom's birthday. And Tom was up there in age, and he wasn't doing well physically. And I remember getting up, making a speech, and I told the guys, I said, somebody's going to have to pick up the mantle and run with this, because we can't lose what Tom started or what Tom has developed. We cannot lose that. And unbeknownst to me, Jonah and all those guys sitting in the room heard that, and they've made Tom Beard's camp into probably the best camp in the country that you can go to, in my opinion. Other than it being cold.
It's cold. It is cold.
It is cold. Now, Larry, last question, and we're gonna get you out of here because we don't have the opportunity to ask this for some guests so far. You had the opportunity to call people as far as them being hired. You don't have to name a name, but what is your best experience on that end of calling somebody and letting them know they are in the league?
Let me put it a different way, Cravon, if you don't mind. I've called so many guys and said, I'd like to welcome you to the NFL. What stands out to me is the guys that I run into at camps. They come up to me and say, "I remember when you called me and offered me the job."
Wow,
that is such a great feeling for them and for me. For them to acknowledge that I can remember what I was doing the day you called me and said, "Welcome to the NFL." That's huge.
We can't close it out any better than that. That is what officiating is all about. It's the memories. And it's people coming up to you and saying, "Hey, I remember when you did this for me." That's what this fraternity and this avocation, but it's still professionalism. You got to pay us, people. We don't do this for free. And Mr. Larry Upson, we appreciate you having you on the Unofficial Lounge. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. This has been fun. Time has flown by. I couldn't believe it's almost time for me to go to bed.
Yeah, you are on the East Coast. We're on the West Coast.
Yep.
So, but Larry, we really appreciate it. Your time.
Thanks for asking me, and thanks for having me on. And it's been a pleasure. I really mean it. I'm not even sweating.
Oh no, we gonna do that. We gonna keep this loose. We want to know what it is. We want to give the true life of what officiating is all about.
Yes.
Wow.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Upson.
Larry Upson,
Thank
everyone.
You. My name is Larry.
It's hard. It's hard.